Hey there, my friend. Smart of you to tune in today. This is Coach Grant Eilertson, and in today's video, we are going to be covering my 4-step objection handling process, which will allow your prospect to sell themselves at the back end of your sales conversations, making closed deals inevitable. All right, let's dive in. So what's important here is like before you get caught up in how do I handle objections strategically, first focus on actually making the sale, because you can't handle objections if someone isn't sold already. If they're just trying to get off the phone, right, because they don't feel like it's the right product for them, then there's no use in trying to handle objections because they don't actually want what you have. So objections in this context are really just concerns. Like, hey, it's a great fit for them. It would be perfect, but logistically, something's not quite right. Maybe they're unsure about their spouse. They're concerned that they would be sleeping on the couch, or they're concerned they don't have the money, or maybe they're concerned that the value is not quite there. Right. So if you can think about what comes up as concerns instead of these scary objections, it releases a lot of the emotional tension that comes up. And if for everyone watching, especially if you're newer to sales, don't go in expecting it to be just a lay down 100%. Oh, sounds great. I'm in. Let me pay in full. That's awesome. And it will happen with great marketing, but expect a couple objections to come up so that when they do, you're not caught off guard and you don't get defensive. So last thing with, objections before we go into like the strategic is none of this is going to work if you aren't willing to go there with them. So if you're showing up for your calls looking just to be liked or to go through the motions, then throw this away and work on that first. Because in order to be a powerful coach, we need to show up to make a difference, not just to be liked. Like, I genuinely believe in the human potential and I love people. And like Ben, I'm not afraid to offend. I couldn't care less if I offend someone. It's fine. I've been offended myself. I'm still alive. So are you. You've probably been offended before too. So the first step is like being willing to go there because you see personally a way better life for them if they take a step forward versus the life they're currently in. If you can see that and you want to fight for their potential instead of allowing them to sell you on their limitations, then going this direction, it's great. So most objections that come up are really just smoke screens for something else underneath. And if you hit the objection head on, like they say, oh, I don't think I can afford it, and you just jump right into that, like, well, what do you mean you can't afford it? Where else can you find the money? Then what we're doing is granting validity to that fake objection, and our prospect ends up digging their heels in. So instead, what we want to do is just deflect it and get down to the real root of what's going on. And this will accomplish one of two things. We'll either end up with a closed deal, or we'll find out the real issue that we can then address in our marketing, or we'll find out the real issue and then we can have an honest conversation with our prospect to resolve their concerns. So when you're practicing, just go through this. The words will change, but the sequence is the same. And this is something where Jordan Belfort is actually the first one who called it looping. Jeremy Miner does a very similar thing. So does Eli Wilhide. Breaking down some of the top sales people I've ever seen, it's just 4 simple steps. They just use different words. So essentially what we're going to do is validate, like, hey, totally cool. I hear what you're saying, Maria. It's not a problem. Well, let me ask you a question, though. Finances aside, does this even seem like the right kind of thing for you? I mean, does the program even make sense for you? So what we're going to do is push aside that first objection, right? We're going to say, if we were able to resolve that, does the process itself actually even feel like the right fit for you? And then when they say yes, which is going to happen in 99% of the cases, if they say no, great, don't waste your time, just hop off the phone. Chances are, though, you won't hear a no here. They'll say, well, yeah, I do. And then ask, well, what do they like about it? Well, what makes you say that? Well, or what do you like about it? If you don't mind me asking, why do you feel it would, though? Right. So I hear what you're saying, Maria. Let me ask you a quick question, though. You know, finances aside, does this actually seem like it would work for you? Well, yeah, I think so. Why do you think it would, though? And at this point, they're going to tell you how to close them. Meaning they're going to tell you all the things about the offer that they actually like. Does this make sense? Okay.
Yeah.
So from there, then we're going to take the ammunition, so to speak, and we're going to just expand on it. So let's just say, for example, their favorite thing was, well, you know, it sounds like it's going to be really supportive. Like, I like that, you know, I can check in with you each week. Oh, cool. You know, I don't think I actually mentioned, now that I'm thinking of it, not only do we do weekly check-ins where we're going to be adjusting your plan to make sure that every step you take is forward, but in addition, anything that comes up throughout the week, whether it's, you know, your wife is ordering pizza in and you're just not sure how to fit it in, or, you know, you miss a workout and you don't know how to get back on track. You don't have to wait an entire week to chat with me. You'll have a hotline so that anything that comes up throughout the week, you're able to get in touch with me and I can make sure you stay on track. That way, every day, we're taking one small step forward. So by the end, now we're going to go in and ask for the sale again after we've expanded what they want. So by the end of the 90 days that we'll be working together, not only will you have lost those 15 pounds that you've been struggling to get rid of on your own, but you're going to be equipped with the tools and resources to be able to keep it off for the rest of your life. And frankly, the only problem you're going to have is we didn't get started sooner. Sound fair enough? So we're going to go back in and ask for the sale again.
So now this looping process is done after you present your like offer, what your program is. Then you would go through this and you're asking, you know, like, what do you like about it? And you kind of refer back to that.
Yeah. So you've got your open, you've got your pre-frame, you've got your diagnosis, or you could call it like intel gathering. And you have your transition, presentation, pitch, objections. This is basically like the steps of a call, right? So you're going to open, hey, how's it going? You're going to pre-frame, purpose of the call today is this, that, and the other. You're going to diagnose. So this is where you go through, it's the meat of the call, all your questions, getting to know what hurts, what's the cost if nothing changes, what do you want, why me, why now, why is this important to you, and why have you not been able to solve this on your own? Then your transition is like, gotcha. Well, based on what you told me, it sounds like what we're doing here actually could work for you. In fact, for people in your situation, we've been able to accomplish XYZ result in this amount of time. So I'd be happy to share with you how we could implement that with you, but you tell me, where do you want to go from here? The presentation is, because you said pain, what we'll do for you is solution. For you, that means benefit. Does that make sense? Got it. And then here we want to basically, you can put in what I'd call a temp check. So that's like, okay, so, I mean, based on everything we covered, does this sound like the right thing for you? I mean, can you see yourself being successful in this process? Oh yeah, sounds amazing. Cool. Is there anything you feel is missing, or does this feel like exactly the right fit for you? No, it sounds great. Amazing. Cool. All right. Well, only next steps then would be to get you plugged in. So where do you want to go from here? Oh yeah, please get me plugged in. Great. So that's where now you actually, cool. So the investment for the next 12 weeks, right, is whatever your investment is. Would you prefer Visa, MasterCard, PayPal? What works best for you? And then objection handling if they're not just ready to sign up and pay. So if something comes up and they're like, oh man, it sounds great. It's more than I expected that I was going to be paying. Like, okay, totally hear you. And not a problem. I guess more importantly, finances aside, does this actually feel like the right fit for you? Can you see yourself being successful with a process like this? Oh yeah, totally. Well, if you don't mind me asking, what specifically do you like about it? All these things. Oh, really? Cool. Did you know that all those things are actually really all these things? In fact, for people like you, we've been able to just, absolutely crush it, eliminating the pain and uncovering the vision really fast. And believe me, if you're even half as successful as the rest of the people we've worked with, only problem you'll have is we can get started 6 months sooner. Sound fair? And now at this point, only at this point, if it's the exact same objection. So a lot of times what you're going to find if you haven't done this before is like a finance objection becomes a spouse objection. Or, a spouse objection becomes a timing thing. Like, oh, I got to talk to my wife. Okay, well, you go through this and it's like, I got to level with you. Really? We're moving and I have no idea if I'm going to be able to afford it. I'm thinking like next month I'll know, but I don't know because I'm unemployed. Like you have no idea until you've gone through this and then they're honest with you. So if it comes up that it's a different objection, go through the process again. Just different words. Oh, makes sense. Well, is that really the only thing that would hold you back? Other than that, it feels like the right fit for you. Yeah, it does. Huh. And why do you think it is though? Well, it's time. I feel like I've been doing this for so long. Oh, you've been putting it off for a long time. Well, the thing is, it doesn't need to take a lot of time. In fact, that's going to be my job. You just let me tell you exactly what to do. And all you need to do is show up 30 minutes a day. That's it. That's it. And believe me, dude, if you're even half as successful as the rest of the people we've worked with, only problem you're going to have is we didn't get started sooner. So if it's the same objection, then you'll actually go in and handle it. So it's like, no, 100%. I really want to do it. I can't afford it. There's just no way. It's like, got it. Okay. Well, are you open to having an honest conversation about your finances so that we can find a win-win and make sure that you get what you want? If yes, then go in and actually structure a payment plan, right? Or help them get creative with PayPal credit. But so many people will literally skip over this. They'll skip over making sure that the program is the right fit for them before they get into pricing. And so there's no like pre-commitment. They don't feel like they're the word is technically called tie down. I don't like the connotation, but we do want to have a tie down before we go into presenting price. Reason for that is because people get really in their heads about money. It complicates things for people. It's one of the number one causes of divorce. So of course we realize that. So we want to make sure that they're 100% bought into the process before giving them the pitch. Like, great. So for 12 weeks, it's 1,200. Right? Because all of a sudden that's more complication. But if they're 100% bought in before we go into the pitch, then we know that whatever objections come up can be dealt with. And so that's where most people lose sales is temp check. They just didn't ask if it feels like the right fit for them before they go into the pricing. Or objection handling. They just take whatever they say and they say, okay, guess I lost the sale, and they hang up. Right? Like, oh, sounds cool. Can I get back to you next week and I'll let you know? If you hop off the phone, you lost the sale there. 95% of at least 95% of the cases. The other side is like handling or like trying to go right into the objection itself. It gets combative. That's not what you want. You want it to feel collaborative, like we're on the same side of the table. Like, okay, you're telling me that you want all these things and this is what's in your way. Would you like my help with solving that problem?
I need to listen to this call like 500 more times because I have like so many light bulbs going off. The looping, okay, is genius. And I definitely want to get more comfortable with that and doing that because that makes a lot of sense on how to handle it. And just genuinely wanting to get to the root of it, but doing it in a natural way.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, like I really like how that is laid out because I do a lot of the other things, even the temp check, all of that stuff I do. But as far as the looping goes and just how to actually get deeper without being super awkward, that makes a lot of sense.
What do you feel has been happening like with objections in the past? Maybe that's not ideal, or maybe knowing this, what would you have changed about what you were doing before?
Yeah, so I think when people tell me it's the finances, then I'm like, oh, well, we could set up a payment plan, like that's totally fine. Whereas instead, I should refer back to, okay, well, is there any other reason why you wouldn't join the program? What did you like about it? Like I never did that. I just went straight into like, oh, well, we could do payment plans, which I don't know, maybe sounds a little desperate.
You're so smart. See, you know these things. You know them. It's just now a matter of like, now that I know it, what do I do different? So it's
yeah,
like,
exactly. And I knew that I was being awkward and didn't know how to handle it right. But even afterwards, I'm like, how would I have done that different? So that makes a lot of sense.
yeah, there's an infinite amount of like objection rebuttals that you could try and memorize. And, some can work at times, but really, if you just have a solid framework that you just feel comfortable with, 4 steps, they're scared. How do I help them get unscared? First, I'm going to validate them. Hey, it's totally normal to feel a little bit scared. You're in good company. I haven't had anyone, sign up that wasn't a little bit scared. If you don't mind me asking though, like, finances aside, does the process itself even make sense for you? I wouldn't want you to do something that doesn't feel like the right fit. Well, no, it sounds great actually. Oh, well, I'm curious, if you don't mind me asking, then what makes it feel like a fit for you? And notice here my tonality. It's like, oh, cool. Well, I guess if you don't mind me asking, what makes it feel like a fit for you? Oh, these reasons. Oh, those reasons. Cool. I totally spaced it, but forgot to mention those little things. There's all these big things too. Pretty cool, right? And at the end of the day, the process, it works. It works 100% of the time for 100% of the people that apply it. Only thing I can't do for you is be committed. But if, like you said, you could show up 3-4 times a week, put in 30 minutes of work, I will make it so fucking simple for you that all you have to do to lose this weight for good is just show up. I will not let you fail. And I promise, like 3 months from now, you're going to call me and we're going to celebrate, with, you're going to call me and we're going to celebrate with, I don't even know what to say now because we can't get together in person, but we'll meet back up on a Zoom call and we'll toast to your success, because I guarantee as long as you show up, I will not let you fail. And chances are we'll have some fun together too. Sound cool?
Yeah, I like the more laxed approach too, which is how I am. And I've, yeah, so I, a lot of times in my head, like, no, this is exactly what you want. And I'm like, I'm not a scam, but how do I like say that without saying that? So that
Mm-hmm.
makes things a lot clearer.
What kind of objections tend to come up most for you? Have you noticed a pattern yet, or is it just all over the board here and there?
Yeah, I would say most are just I need to talk with my husband. Um, and I mean, recently I went through like a major drought and then had a lot of calls, and all of those calls I signed like everybody but one. So I went through like a very good spurt right there. But I would say most were finances, but I was very like, well, I'm very willing to work with you and that kind of thing. So, the one below it, that definitely helped me being more nonchalant about it. Um, so yeah, I would say it was more like the husband and I just need to like make sure that works type of thing.
Mm-hmm. So for you, what I want you to do, because I know there's a couple pieces of homework, right? And it's fun because the things that you're dealing with are what I see so many other people dealing with, that like it's just a perfect context for this call. Um, Focus a little bit less on the deliverables in your next couple calls, just so you can feel the power of painting the picture. Instead of the shiny shit, it's all destination. It's Hawaii, not the airplane ride. Then when you're working through objections, keep it simple. Just follow this framework. I do recommend you and everyone else that watches this book 1 to 2 calls with each other just so you can get comfortable. It's a little bit of a new thing. Totally cool. Get comfortable with it. And then the last thing is, as you end every sale, ask, why is it a yes? So anytime someone says yes, I say, why? Why is it a yes for you? Because one, you're going to lock the sale down right there. It's going to help with your conversion rate, because now they're going to tell you all the reasons why it's a yes. Why is a question that gets people to dig their heels in. So you want to use it carefully, and only when it actually like them digging their heels in is to your benefit. So if they say, no, I don't think I'm ready for it. Why not? That'd be a terrible thing to ask. If they say yes, why? Because this is going to then tell you exactly how to keep making those sales. Whatever made it a yes for them becomes your next piece of content.
That is so smart.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
how you create the consistency. So like I was asking if you have pattern objections, because if you have the same thing come up over and over, it becomes content, whether it's good or bad. If you have a whole bunch of spouse objections in a row, your content then gets to be specifically like, taking personal responsibility, respecting yourself, which then adds to your marriage kind of content. And then if you have a bunch of people saying yes for a very specific reason, that becomes your content too. And so what you want to be in the habit of is not just making these like, I think about it like every sales call is like this, like we're right in here. It's very intimate. It's this person. And that's great. But if you spend all your time in here, you can make like 20, 30,000 a month, but you're going to work really hard. If you can be in here and then zoom out, see the bigger picture, the reason why all those little things were a yes, now I can put this yes content out there and have 20 people reaching out pre-sold because they saw the post that resonated. So always be thinking like, how do I zoom out, see the bigger pattern, and then align my day-to-day actions accordingly. I see you're getting a lot of good nuggets from this call. I'm
Oh
wondering
my
about
gosh.
everyone else.
Yeah.